All right, we'd like to welcome everyone out there watching the Panama City Beach, Florida, where today we have a special edition of the Coach Smith Show. We're at Laguna Beach Christian Retreat in front of Paul's house, where the football team has been staying this weekend. Victorious Saturday afternoon over the Fort Wayne Kings Crusaders in the semifinal matchup. And today we get a chance to go play for our 6th consecutive NHSA title. With me, of course, is Coach Tim Smith, your head football coach and ECS athletics director. I've also got on today's show Hagan Joyner, offensive coordinator for the Lightning, as well as defensive coordinator Clay Romano. And we'll also be joined by a special guest, Jack Donovan, here in a little while. So, Coach, start with you first. Congratulations on the win Saturday over the Crusaders. Just talk a little bit about the experience so far.
Oh, yeah, it's been great. This trip down here has become the thing that I know it's the end of our season, but it's kind of – it wraps the whole season up together. All the families are here. The kids love it. They get in this house, and they have a good time. Parents sit out over here. You can't see it, but we have a fire pit over there, and they'll sit around that fire pit way past when Coach Smith goes to bed.
That's right. Well, maybe we can get a pan over there on the setup here in a minute. But we also got to have an awesome worship service on the beach yesterday. Thank you to Alan Barlow, who's our color analyst on the broadcast, who led us in worship, and Ben, remind me, Ben's Hagel. Angle. Ben Angle, who's also our team trainer, who brought us a message yesterday about being a servant leader, and I think that was really impactful to those guys. We also had a baptism yesterday. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Stone Henderson come to me yesterday morning, like Stone plans a lot. And he come to me and told me he wanted to be baptized, and we couldn't get it all quite together yesterday morning. So I talked to his mom and dad, and Coach Wolf and I, Brian Wolf, we decided we'd do it after practice yesterday, which we always end the season down there on the beach with one last practice. And so we baptized Stone with all of his teammates and family right there watching. So that's always a special moment for me. Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Well, we also had the award ceremony last night where I wasn't able to attend. I was doing some video production stuff, but maybe just 16 seniors, I believe. And has the finality of the season and this day hit them yet, you think?
Yeah, it has. It was very emotional last night for all of us. These 16 is a special group. When I got here 7 years ago, Hagan and I and Coach Wolf, there's some of them that's been here almost from the day that we got here. Mm-hmm. And to watch those kids grow up and, as I like to aggravate them and tell them they're little snotty-nosed runts when we got here, and now they're grown men leaving. And they got a chance to do something really special. And if we can pull off a victory today and that senior class can leave here with 50 wins, 4 national championships, and 3 state championships, that's really impressive. Unheard of, I'll be honest.
We've been very fortunate indeed. And speaking of which, we got a ball game to play today against, as you mentioned, the Pack Panthers from Pickens, South Carolina.
That's correct.
And Pack stands for, I had to look this up, Providence Athletic Club. And so that's a pretty cool name. I assume you and the coaches have completed your SWOT analysis and identified the strengths and weaknesses, et cetera.
No, we've actually decided this time not to watch anything and just take a chance. Everybody always asks.
I'd have a heart attack.
Clay, here we go. But it's funny because people always ask, have y'all watched any film on them? Have y'all seen them? No, we haven't. We're going blind. But
yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately, we have. They're a very good football team. We know Coach Yeoman and his staff. We coach with them up in Gatlinburg. We coach some of their kids. They do a great job, And we know today we're going to have our hands full. They're going to try to pound us. They're one of those teams. They're a little bit of an old school team. They're going to line up in some tight formations, and I'll let Clay talk to you about that. But as an old defensive coordinator, there was one formation I hated in 11-man or 8-man. and that's two
Two
tight ends. I hated it. I hated trying to get it, so I'm glad it's Clay's job this week to try to get ready for that. But they're a very good team. Defensive-wise, I'll let Hagan talk about it a little bit, but they're coming.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you say it. They line up in that three-man front, and they're sending somebody almost every play. So we got to be prepared for that. And I think Hagan's got the offensive group ready. So I think our kids are ready to play.
So if you could summarize, what is one or two keys overall? I tell you what, I'll let you maybe focus in on the kicking game since we got the coordinators here.
All right, that's good. That's good.
What is one or two keys in the kicking game that we need to do today?
Like we tell them every week, we cannot give them a possession on a kickoff return. We got to make sure that, as you saw the other night, I knew we all did. Most teams are going to come out and pooch it against us, onside it, and we were very, very fortunate to get that first kickoff the other night, and we have worked it. But it's a bounce of a ball. It's lucky.
Yeah.
So not giving them a possession, and then on kickoff, going down and covering them, and then punt. Just making sure we do what we do. I think we faked a punt. Yeah, we faked one the other night. I think we faked 2 or 3 this year. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Big one in that Lighthouse game we faked.
Yeah, we're probably done faking. We're probably out.
I hope we don't have to line up in it.
Yeah, that's true. It's Hagan's fault when I have to call the fake punt because we didn't get a first down. So, and then, just do what we do on special teams. And by the way, I don't know about y'all, but there's one fly wearing my head out.
It is. Oh. Well, as I said, we've got offensive coordinator Hagan Joyner here with us. So, Coach, I need to ask you some serious questions first.
All right.
How many pair of shoes do you have?
I know.
got 2 racks in the closet, and I got a rack in the garage. And then each year, if we're fortunate enough to go to state championship, I'll have a pair of shoes for that. And then I got a pair of shoes for first round of the nationals and a pair. So I get 3 new pair. I don't go buy them every month. I buy about 3 new pair a year.
Okay.
But I have.
What about basketball season?
That's different. I don't count that.
Okay.
This is a football
He's got
show.
over 70 pair.
70. Well, that was going to be my next question.
I've saw.
You have?
Oh, it's at least 70 pair.
My next question was going to be, who has more, you or Mrs. Joyner?
Oh, me. Yeah. That's me.
All right. So the next question I wanted to ask you is, if there's one play that you've called this year that was just called right at the right time or made the biggest impact, or that's just really stuck out as, man, I really hit the nail on the head, what would that play be?
Franklin on the road, 4th and 2, we're inside our own 30, and we don't know if we're punting or if we're going for it. And I could tell Coach Smith we're both just standing there, and I think he's about to say punt, and I just yell spread. I just yell spread, and I'm just seeing if we're going to call timeout, if we're going to punt. And then Franklin had an amazing nose guard. And they had shown on our 3rd and 4th and shorts that night that they were coming up those 8 gaps. They were coming straight to the middle, but they were leaving the edge open. So we call a jet sweep on 4th and 2 from our own 25.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
I know if it doesn't work, I'm fired for the night or maybe the season. But we ended up hitting the edge and getting the first down for about 40 yards. But it ended up being – that's the one I look back on and say that we didn't want to have to punt in that situation. That was the momentum swing, one of the momentum swings that game. But it was sitting there.
Yeah, that was huge.
But that one stood out.
Can I say something?
Yes.
He did call that one. I just want you to know that when it was 4th and 1 on our 20-something with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go, he looks at me and goes, "We're going for it." And I go, "We called timeout." And then he said, he never asked me what play. He just says, and he looked at me and said, "Well, we're going to run." He didn't want
I don't
that
want
one.
the blame on that one.
Well, I told them to go for it every time because we couldn't stop them between the 50s anyways. We waited to stop them when they got in the red zone, so you might as well go for it if you're on red zone.
Yeah.
And 50 was out of the ballgame.
Yes, 50 came out of the game
that
2 plays
helped
before
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you one of the obvious questions here. What is Coach Smith's favorite formation?
Oh, well, that would be the old double wing.
And how many times a game does he ask you to get in that formation?
Not as much anymore, but we've slid it in now to where that's we run tech, and it's just another form of the double wing, so it's another way for us to run it. But we'll run it for our 2-point plays, and all of our typically our short yardage situations, but yeah, it's definitely the favorite formation. It's not close.
Yeah, not even close. Well, I want to mention, the offense this year has been very dynamic, and Coach Smith and I have talked about it on the show. How amazing it is to me. Especially just being homeschool program. They don't practice as much as maybe some of the bigger schools and everything, and volunteer coaches everywhere. It's just amazing to me how sophisticated our offense is. It really puts a lot of teams on their heels defensively, trying to defend us. And this year, it's been going largely due to the success of the junior Kemp Swords. What's it been like? Because I believe he went over 1,000 yards rushing for the season in the game Saturday. So in my memory, it's the first 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard passer we've had here at Evangel. What's it been like coaching that guy?
Well, I think he's about 150 away from
being 2,000. Yeah,
so
passing. Yeah,
I don't want to
got to be
jinx
close.
that, but that would be.
We hadn't told him.
No, we're not going to tell him that. But it's been great. It's so. Tyler Henderson was here for so many years, and pocket passer, he'd run and get you 5 or 6 yards. He'd get 5 or 6 hard yards. He's not going to outrun you. And then Eli's not running, but he has a great arm.
Yeah.
But those two kids had completely different attitudes. They're very vocal, and Kemp's a leader with his action, but not vocal wise. So he comes in, and he's not here the first few practices, yelling at the guys. He's just kind of doing his thing, and he's been that way all season. But it's been great. We didn't really know what we had. Like Coach Smith said, we go up to Gatlinburg, and we're trying to see what we've got. And 4 plays in, or 5 plays in, we lose our star running back. And we don't. We're just hit right in the gut, and that was it's our bell cow.
Right.
And so then we're in a spot where it's like
Hunter Atkins.
Yeah, and we throw. Caleb Austin had repped a couple times at running back, but we didn't have a running back. We put him out there, and thank goodness, he's rushed for almost 800 yards this season, averaging like 12 yards a carry. But at that time, we didn't know what we had. There were so many question marks in that game. Calm, cool, collected, never got fazed by anything. Just let us what he's supposed to do. He's been that way all season. He's definitely a actions over words kind of guy, which I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been impressed with his accuracy. He seems to, not make many bad decisions.
We played East Central on the road, second game of the year, and he threw 2 picks in the first half. And at halftime, I called him over. I was like, "Hey, buddy," I was like, I wasn't trying to be. I was like, "We don't do that. We don't do that. Like, we don't throw picks. We're not gonna." And he just looked at me. He's like, "Got it, coach." And I don't think he threw another one until we played maybe East Central again.
Yeah, it was a long time.
But yeah, he's very accurate. He doesn't have the biggest arm, but he understands that, and he'll let it go early when he needs to. He puts the guys in position to succeed, and when you roll out, no one's open, and you can run for a 60-yard touchdown. That doesn't hurt. Cause either.
A lot of those on that highlight film we put together yesterday. The squirrel, as Alan Barlow coined earlier in the season.
That's what we call him too now.
Yeah.
We
Do you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Bit,
yeah. He's
I go
elusive
back,
in traffic.
It's ironic though that when Hunter Atkins got here, he wasn't even a running back.
That's right.
And the reason he went to running back was that Tyler Wilson, Muffin, got hurt.
Yep.
And Hunter didn't even know the offense. And we're literally telling him to go left, go right. And he turns into a 1,200-yard back.
A stud.
And then, unfortunately, what happened to him, and then Caleb stepped up.
Yeah, and Caleb, like you said, we didn't really know what we had because he was hurt
more of a slot guy,
all last year pretty much. And so it's been nice to have him step up for sure.
And I would say the biggest thing, like you were saying offensively, talking about like the dynamic of it, I would say that for us, it's like super complicated. We have a lot of plays, but they'll add, like Carson asked me the other day, he said, how many plays are on the play sheet? I was like, well, there's about 100 on the sheet, but we have, it's infinite because we don't do memorization. We don't have like a play where we go, the play call is Georgia, and they memorize what that means. We have a system. So if you know what A rocket means, it means the same for C rocket or C laser or B rocket. So you can play any position as long as you know 6 or 7 terms and know what the number hole is. You can go play any spot you want to go play on the field, and that way we can. I feel like we can go into the half We got, by the time you get in there, you probably got 5 minutes with the guys, with your guys, 5 quality minutes to go over what you need to go over.
Right.
We can be like, hey, let's run this play, but we can just add that play in instead of, and then when someone gets hurt, like situation where Hunter gets hurt, or you've seen our slots get hurt all year, we can stick a guy out there and say A-Rocket means A-Rocket for all 7 guys that go on the field. We can just plug a guy in, and they at least, even if they're not going to do it to the same extent, they know what to go do.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest aspect of it, is you don't have a bunch of guys running around not knowing what to do. Now, we could today, but I hope we don't.
Yeah, I mean, we've noticed that too. You've got so many different players changing out positions, and that makes perfect sense. It's because of the system and the terminology. Once you learn that, you can plug in anywhere. It's pretty impressive.
We had a really big compliment, I thought, the other night after the ball game when we played the Fort Wayne Crusaders. Their quarterback come up to me, found me after the ball game, and he said, we were talking, and he said, Coach, I want to tell you thank you. He said, because what y'all do is going to help those guys, because he's a senior, and he pointed over there at his teammates. He said, next year, he said, we've never played a team that is so polished. And he said we would watch y'all on film this week, and we'd go like, how are they doing all this stuff?
Yeah.
And I thought that was one of the best compliments we've ever had, is that, we do. I know Clay does too, the defense. I mean, if you watch what we do, it's they both do a great job with that. And I do want to say one thing. You heard Hagan say he gets 5 minutes. Halftime's usually 20. Somebody else usually gets a little more.
I was about to say that. if he gets 5 minutes, it's because I've read out all the rest of it.
A lot of guys go both ways this year, so we can't just do individual.
Hagan will be over there going, I gotta have him for just 5 minutes. I'm like, Clay. He's like, I got it, Coach. He's on that board.
Another thing you asked about the biggest play of the year, I would say that when we came out for offense, but when we came out of that Franklin game in the second half, we hit them for 2. We were struggling. We hit them for 2 quick plays, bam, bam, and we went right on the field and scored. But those 2 plays wouldn't have happened. Coach Welch sits. He's up top. He tells me to bring my iPad. I forget it half the time. He'll take my iPad and film offense. He'll take his iPad and film defense, and then he brought 2 TVs to Franklin. And they're there, which is great that they have that, and I'm blessed for what we have. But they have the huddle sideline with a tent up. We got a man with 9 fingers and 2 iPads, and 2 TV, and he brings 2 TVs and put them in there, and we set one up one side and one on the other, and that's what we have. We flipped through it, and it was awesome. And that right there let me make the play calls for the second half. I wouldn't have seen it. The way the corner came up and Clay was able to slip behind him, I couldn't have seen any of that if he wouldn't have done that. So a lot goes into it.
Kudos to Welch.
Kudos to Welch.
9 fingers.
Yeah, and I wish we could have, all the coaches on here. And Coach Smith, you talked about the staff earlier in the week for the pregame leading up to Saturday's game. It's just really fortunate to have so many polished coaches on this staff, with a lot of experience. Let's see. I think that's all the questions I had for you, Coach Hagan.
All right.
Coach Hagan Joyner. Let me ask you this: what's it like playing, coaching with your uncle?
Be easy.
Could be I'll be honest. I get because
this is the nephew of this guy.
Well, I played for him too. So when he hits a certain tone, it's almost like PTSD. Like I think that I'm a player, and so I just freeze up. It's like, hey, and I'm thinking, I'm just turning around, and I'm, he's on the line, and sometimes I'll just jog over to the line, get ready to take off. But it's crazy because I think we talk. I mean, every day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. I don't know. I take it for granted sometimes. Like I don't think about it, but I mean, if you check my call log, I talk to Coach Smith. I mean, every day, multiple times, and it's half the time it's not about. I mean, a lot of times it starts with football and then it just turns into something else. It's almost, I don't like being too nice. It's like, my best friend. We talk every single day. I don't talk to anybody else on the phone 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But we do, and it's turned into I mean, I was close before, but I never he's the reason I wanted to coach because I coached with him and he let me. And when I was in high school, you would go meet a coach and get the film. I know it sounds like, but that's what Coach Smith would be like, hey, I got to go meet so-and-so at the Chevron and wherever, and I'm going to pick up the film. But I always wanted to, I loved it then. When I played, I looked more excited to go into his house and watching the film then. And he was teaching me then. And then he called me when he came over here initially, and I've been here ever since, and I love it. I feel like, it's Coach Clay said it best the other day. He said, I call it, our wives, obviously we have a lot of time here, but to them it may seem like it's a hobby, right? It's like we're, this is what you're choosing to go do, but Coach Clay said it best.
Right here,
it's our ministry. That's what we're it's what we're called to do. It's like that's what we're doing with our time. Our hobby's pickleball.
That's right. That's right.
This is a call.
There we go. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I know you guys really enjoy it, and it's truly a family affair. We've had so many brothers come through the system. Obviously, a lot of dads out here coaching their sons, and it's truly a family atmosphere, and we really appreciate you sacrificing so much of your time, especially since you're a new dad this year and everything. And but we looking forward to your creativity again one more time this afternoon, and hopefully we can put a lot of points on the board today.
Hopefully
and
so.
Coach Clay doesn't have to call punt.
Just getting the wing tee.
Just getting the wing tee. Well, thank you, Coach Joyner. We're going to let you be dismissed and get Coach Jack over here while we talk to Clay. Well, Clay, you doing all right, man?
I'm doing great,
Are
Scott.
you dialed in, ready to go?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm never really – I always feel – anytime people ask, I say, we'll find out when the game starts. We'll find out when the game starts. But I feel good about where we're at.
Good. Well, just I know we've talked a little bit before, but for the fans watching that maybe don't know much about you, talk a little bit about your experience and your journey to helping out with the defense starting last year.
Absolutely. Well, when I graduated college, I was at Sanford, and I had the fortunate ability to play football there, and always wanted to be a high school teacher, football coach, and so my first job out of school was at St. Clair County High School out in Odenville, where I coached for a couple of years, and then I went to Springville High School and was able to coach there as well, and was always part of the defensive staff. I was able to be a defensive coordinator at St. Clair County, and then my family kept growing, and that teacher's salary wasn't quite allowing me to afford them what I thought it would be. I hate that because I really loved and enjoyed it, but I ended up getting into sales and was missing it, and had the opportunity to coach a lot of the Little League flag football teams, coached with Alan Barlow and a lot of the Evangel family through the flag football system. And then my head coach at Springville is at Helena High School, and he called me and said, we need help on the junior high staff down there. Would you be willing to volunteer some of your time? And so for 2 years I helped down there. Cool. And after that I had Cole here that was starting high school, and I had Hunter that was his age that was at Helena, and then COVID hit, and I got this little idea because Hunter really wanted to play basketball and football is let me bring Hunter and see if I can get Hunter and Cole at the same place, and then I don't have to divide my time.
Sure.
And was able to meet Coach Smith, and as he always does, he eloquently sold Hunter and Miss Alicia on the Evangel family, and so when we got both of them there, I told Coach, that I had a little experience and I would like to help. And it's been such a blessing that he gave me that opportunity because it is my ministry, and he gave me a chance.
Yeah.
And so I started off helping him with the defense and learned a lot about 8-man that I hated at first.
Sure.
Because it's not like 11-man.
Ain't no strong safety.
You're almost forced to play man. If you blitz, you're always leaving yourself open to somebody hitting a big play on you. And so I love film. I love studying. And after that first year, I spent like 3 months working on a new defense that I kept telling Coach Smith about. And Coach Smith, which again I'm very thankful for, taught me so much about 8-man and said, would you want the opportunity to lead the defense? And I took that a big responsibility on my part to do that. And so I don't know why I'm so emotional, guys. It's just a combination of everything. 2 seniors, last day, all this. So
it's a lot.
But
it's heavy.
It's been a true blessing, and last year was great. I learned a lot, and then this year's just been amazing. So that's my journey, and just very thankful to be here, and thankful for Coach Smith and the Evangel family for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah, well, I think Coach. I know in my career, Coach, I think I'm the proudest when I'm able to bring people onto my team and what I do, and see them be successful. And I think you made a pretty good decision when you put him over the defense because they have.
We've never had a better defense,
well,
I think. Yeah. I've been at Evangel since Carson's been in the 7th grade. Coach Clay has been an unbelievable defensive coordinator, and we've never had a better defense coach.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I'm sorry if I offended somebody, but
It would just
that's
be
the way
me.
I feel.
It was me.
Look, if I offended somebody in the past, I apologize, but there's not been a better one.
No, I agree. In fact, I was telling some people the other day, you have to be able to, as the head coach, sometimes step back and say, he's just better than me. He knows he's good.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that he's on our sideline and not the other one.
No doubt.
I think Hagan would be honest. Now, let me tell you, they go at it at practice every now and then. But I think if Hagan would be honest and say, I think we would hate to face him every Friday night.
Yep.
He's wanting to look. He's sitting over there. He's wanting the mic back so bad right now.
I'm glad he don't have it.
Hey, do you want me to get up?
But no, we're thankful that he decided to come on, and they were just coming for 1 year with Hunter, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that out. I told Miss Alicia that day in my office, I said, once I get him, he's never going to leave. And she said, okay.
Well, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your philosophy, because the defense does look a lot different than it did 2 years ago. It was still a very good defense. Obviously, we won a championship, but since you took over, the defense looks different, mainly because it looks like we've got some taller, leaner guys out there on the defensive line than we've had in the past. Was that more of your philosophy about how you wanted the defense to operate, or was it more of a out of need for the personnel that we had, or a combination?
Well, let's just make no mistake about it. And I think Coach Smith said it well last night. You got to go with your Jimmies and Joes, and we got some really good Jimmies and Joes on defense. And so whether it's philosophy or just, the way that our team is set up, you kind of you want to put your players in the position where they can do what they do best, right? And so that first year that I was coaching with Coach Smith, we had a really good defense. We had Zach, we had Thomas, and then we had Big Everson in the middle. Mm-hmm. But what if you notice that defensive line was a lot bigger. They were very gap sound, but they didn't have the speed of the defensive line we have now.
Yep.
And so last year, we were nervous putting Grady, Cole, and then we found Clay. A couple weeks in, he was like a quarterback to start with.
Talk a little bit about that decision to plug him in, to move him from quarterback to nose guard.
It was really a decision we didn't have an Everson. We didn't have a true nose guard that we thought could go through. And Coach Blake's the D-line coach, and he had Clay down there, and he said, well, Clay is long and lean, and he's actually got a quick first step. Mm-hmm. Now, we're always going to get on to Clay about he's too tall sometimes and all that. But a lot of times he'll pop up too tall and get it back there and sack somebody. So, it's just like you take
works out.
It works out. But we had a lot of speed. And when you can cover from slide to sideline with your defensive line, it takes a lot of pressure off the linebackers, and it takes a tremendous amount of pressure off the secondary because of how quick they can get back there. 8-man is a game of speed, in my opinion. Yeah. And so when you have a D-line that really turn into linebackers after the first, it makes it a lot easier to cover that field. And so especially since we play on 100-yard fields with that many people, we need speed. And so to have a D-line that averages 165 pounds, I think the heaviest guy on the defense is 185. Mm-hmm. But all of them can run. Mm-hmm. And we're real tall and rangy, and so it's been tremendous that's kind of the philosophy.
I remember when we decided to move Clay to the nose, he had been playing some over on scout team defense, so I went to Carson. And I remember asking Carson, I said, can he play nose? And Carson said, yeah. He said he's really quick.
Yep.
But Carson was quick to tell me, too, if I can get my hands on him, though, I got it. And that's what we work with on Clay. And he does aggravate us sometimes because he will stand straight up. But I've just got to where I don't say anything anymore because the kid he makes plays. He makes plays, man.
So similar question for you, Coach Clay. Is there one particular moment or play that you dialed up, a blitz you dialed up or something at the right time that really stood out and you gave yourself a pat on the back for this year?
No, see, what's really unique about it, we don't call plays or blitzes. What we do is we look at we work really hard at the first of the week of that team's philosophy, that team's formations, and how that team motions and really what they do. And we set up our defense every week. We have our core-based principles of what we do, but to that as long as we can get lined up right into the different formations and we run it, that's how we do it. Now, we have automatic blitzes. If this person does this, you automatic blitz off the
Yep.
So it's really not a call. But if you – to me, one of the really biggest plays, I think our best game defensively is second half of the first Lighthouse game. Now, people could say that may have been we look like we got gutted that first half when they went into the two tights and they kept moving the ball. But second half, we came out, made just one adjustment on that two tights to give us a window, and we went block punt. Hayden caused a fumble, interception, stopped them on 4th and inches.
So that one
And
adjustment.
all 4 of those drives turned into points for us, and we blew them out.
Yeah.
People don't realize we were losing with 3 minutes left in that third quarter of that Lighthouse game. And so as a culmination, the defense played really, really good. Franklin, we could not stop them between the 20 to 20, but every time we got it, we had, I think, 5 stops within the red zone, which gave our offense the ball back. And so, just watching them kind of like not get their head down when big plays happen and just really kind of buckle up around that red zone, I think is important. But Lighthouse and Franklin, I mean, the best games of the season. I'm really proud of how the defense played.
Yeah, sure, no doubt.
That Franklin game, to be honest, we talked about it a little while ago. When it got down to that 4th down in inches, we really and truthfully, and Carson sitting right over here to my left, he would tell you that guy was a handful.
Number
And
50?
Number 50. I can't remember the kid's name, but I'm pretty sure he'll be in Gatlinburg in a few weeks. If he's in the ball game, Hagan and I, we've talked about it over and over, we'd have punted.
Yeah.
Because we just couldn't block him. So we would have probably punted. But when he went out and we saw him standing on the sideline over there, I like, let's do it. And I'm glad Squirrel's 5 foot whatever he is, because we needed that last 6 inches he squeezed out to get it. But
Yep.
and then I will say this, I don't know how many times that our defense, Clay's not telling you everything that I know. I don't know how many goal line stands we've had this year. I mean, and that's a credit to the defensive guys, Coach Blake, Coach Andrew, Coach Clay, and what they do is as far as we always tell them, if they get down in there, don't give up right here. Play harder. And I know we've had 4 or 5 goal line stands where they had 1st and goal inside our 10, and they can't get in. Who was it we was playing this year? Was it Freedom that had 1st and goal, and we threw them all the way?
Ezekiel had 1st and goal from the 2, I think, or 3.
And ended up 4th and goal from
twice.
the 30-something.
Yeah.
Freedom was first drive, that's right. And we held them, that's right.
We did.
So you have a bit of a reputation as being a fiery coach on the sideline.
Really?
Have a little bit of a fun question here, Alan. You might have a thought about this. Have you ever been ejected from a game?
Uh-oh.
As you mature in life, you learn a lot of things. I have been kicked out of a couple of flag football games for what I like to call passion, not attitude, maybe. But I've learned to try to temper it down a little bit, and but I can get fiery for sure.
Yeah. We enjoy your enthusiasm on the sideline when we're calling the game for sure. Well, let's see. Any extracurricular activities you're involved with these days?
I've picked up pickleball.
Okay.
And we just started playing that in the last month and a half, and it's been, Hunter is as competitive as they get, and he can't do much. And the doctor said that as long as he wears his knee brace and doesn't go too hard, he can play pickleball. So trying to get him out doing something athletic is and it's turned into I may have a little bit of also an obsessive personality when I start something. So yesterday, as soon as we got free time, I spent 4 hours at the beach. Instead of being at the beach, I spent it on a pickleball court.
Wow.
And me and Hunter got ran by some professionals and learned a lot. But it was a lot of fun. And, yeah, it's another hobby that I picked up. But
that's awesome.
Hey, I did want to thank Coach Blake and Coach Welch. It's – Coach Smith and Coach Hagan are kind of the offensive gurus, and they do it together, and we all kind of collectively help. But on the defensive staff, like I have to separate linebackers, D-line, and defensive backs because they all have different job responsibilities. And those two, y'all do. I want to tell y'all thank y'all. Y'all do a very fantastic job we put in the game plan, and they initiate it and run it. And as you can see, that the linebackers, the D line, and the defensive backs all have to work together. But you got to have great coaches that can help teach those individual spots what to do. And I've got a fantastic defensive staff, and I want to thank them for all they do.
No doubt. Again, we're very fortunate to have so much experience with the coaches we have around here, and their talents are on display every Friday night and this weekend for sure. Well, Coach, we really appreciate your time, and
thank you for having me.
Hope you pitch a shutout today.
I'd love one.
Me too.
Well, now I got the star of the weekend to my left here. Jack Donovan has joined us. Jack, you're like I said, the star of the weekend. You're the producer of all the festivities that go on around here, all the fantastic meals, the fantastic hangout around the fire pit at night. Just, tell us a little bit about, how you started this tradition, because you get the credit for it if you know it or not. I mean, you've really started a lot. When you're gone next year, somebody's got to step up and hold the rope, as they say.
Well, I can always tell you, I mean, it's definitely just a pleasure to be able to come in and do something like this with the boys. I mean, I love every one of them, love the coaches, everything else. I try to follow really in Coach Smith's footsteps of, it's really not about being the best of something or even whatever it says. Like who can you put underneath you to make you better, as like what he does as a head coach, or who he picks to surround himself with as coaches and stuff like that. And shoot, when it comes to cooking, so I try to do the same thing. Had a lot of help each year. It's built and built and built. And this year we just had I think a great time, a great amount of food for everybody, and just the camaraderie of just everybody collectively just coming together right here around a little fire pit. I don't think we're supposed to have one in Florida right now, but but I mean, just to come around and just see all the parents come together, the kids come together. I don't know how much better you can ask of that. The coaches just to be able to relax and and have them come together and just kind of like, yes, we're trying to get prepared going into 50 wins hopefully in the next few hours, but just also de-stress a little bit, and I think hopefully it helps, because I know it does me.
Absolutely.
And
so Carson's a senior, obviously. Carson.
I don't want to talk about all this.
You're going to get the big man to crying.
Hey, I already got Clay. Now you're next on my radar. So, no, he's been starting since he was an 8th grader. Is that right?
He started, he made the 8th grade. As an 8th grader, he made the varsity team as 8th grader. He played a little bit as 8th grade, and then our big year, 92 to 90, was 2019. He didn't play any plays in that national championship, which he was an 8th grader. I mean, it's understandable and stuff like that. So, but yes, sir, as starting as the 9th grader, he's now started, I think, every football game from the 9th grade until now. He at least started as the center and stuff like that on every one. So yeah, definitely a proud daddy moment.
Yeah, for sure. Any plans for next year, or when we had him on the show weeks back, he mentioned he might want to go help you in the construction business.
He might, yeah. I mean, we're trying to figure it out. I want him to definitely experience the college life. We're waiting to see what that's going to do. For whatever road he does, hopefully it's God's plan. And I'm struggling either way. I don't want him to go into the workforce right away. I'd rather him go to college and see what else is out there and stuff like that, or see what else he can do, and maybe play ball somewhere and
sure,
wherever that is. But just waiting to see exactly what that is, and I can't tell you exactly what that plan is yet, but we're working towards it.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate all you've done. So how much meat did you bring down here this weekend?
A good little bit.
That's the understatement of the weekend.
We brought down, I think it was 30 slabs of ribs. We had 100 pounds of sausage, about 70 quarts of spaghetti and meatballs. We pre-did 250 meatballs before we came, and 15 pounds of ground meat to go with that. Made a meat sauce, everything else. Last night was a pretty cool night. We had a 100-pound pig on the grill for about 20 hours, and so we smoked that, and then just I'm sure I'm forgetting hot dog. I mean, just we had all kind of stuff. I mean, it's
Boston Butts.
yeah, Boston Butts. I forgot about them. We had 12 huge Boston Butts, and then it's funny that last night when we did the pig, some of the people were like, "Wait a minute, I don't eat that." I said, "Wait, it's already on your plate." I'm
Yeah.
like, this is just you coming in there with Boston Butt on your plate. That's all this is.
Yeah.
We just have you seeing it with the head on it. That's all, and different things. But it's been fun. It's to cook that amount of food and to feed everybody and the parents this year I thought was great because we asked them to bring some sides and stuff like that because the parents stepped up this year and cooked almost every meal or did cook every pregame meal and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that just goes to show you that they don't mind actually doing it neither, and because of the love of obviously Evangel and the football team and everybody else, but so they brought some sides and stuff. So we had a lot of food to feed people this week.
Yeah,
and it's been great.
Everybody's very appreciative of that. It's been neat to just be able to walk over to the food hall there and all the parents serving and everything, all the meat and all the food that y'all prepared. And we really appreciate all you've done. And I think I speak on behalf of Coach Smith and everybody else. You're welcome back any year you want to come.
Oh, yeah. If I get asked, I'll be here. I mean, it just, it is what it is. I mean, I thoroughly love it. That's why I said it's not just because of my son Carson. It's something I love to do, and and it's always fun.
Yeah,
so.
I just had an idea. Maybe get Carson on the coaching staff, and you don't have to come back every year.
Carson's over there like, I don't know about all that.
Well, it's a fantastic weekend, and we couldn't have had as much fun as we did without you, boss. We appreciate it.
No, well, thank you all, man. I've enjoyed it, and thanks again to the coaches and Coach Clay and Coach Smith, and they gotta, we're ready for this win, and hopefully today and everything works out and goes in our favor, and they've definitely have prepared the boys and made them young men, and I think that's the biggest thing when Coach Smith and I usually talk is we're not only preparing them for the game, we're preparing them to be young men, and especially young men of Christ, and that's been a big decision. I always keep Carson with Evangel and different things like that, which what I've struggled with, but what more can you ask for than that?
Right.
Regardless if they play ball or what they do, we have raised good Christian young men. Hands down, that's the best thing on the table.
That's the ultimate
Amen.
goal. Amen. Well, Coach, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here?
No, I just want to thank you and Alan and all your staff that go with us every ball game. For people that don't know this, y'all need to know for you to be able to sit at home and be able to watch a game, grandparents who live out of state, different things that these guys work tremendously hard. When we go on the road, they rent scaffolding. They're up there putting scaffolding up. I see Kirk Stallings sitting over there. He's part of that group too, and there's some more dads that jump in and help, like Steve Smith and them. They'll jump in and do whatever they got to do to make sure this show goes on the road so that you're able to watch it at home, and it's so that us as coaches and our favorite part about being on the road and on those charter buses, if they don't break down.
Or when they do break down.
Yeah, is on the way home, like from Franklin, Tennessee. We couldn't wait to get on the bus, and Coach Welch got it set up so we could put it on the TV on the bus. So y'all literally took us all the way from Franklin, Tennessee to somewhere around Hoover or somewhere, because I remember Hagan saying, where are we at? I said, about 35, 40 minutes from home.
Well,
So we thank y'all very much, and I know there's people out there that's going to watch this today that if they could, they would tell you thank you very much. I appreciate y'all.
well, it's a team effort. I mean, I think a lot of parents play some role. It's just our way to participate, and we're glad to do it. I want to apologize for any criticality we've had of the play calling. send your complaints to Alan Barlow.
They'll keep passing them down the line.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So no, seriously, we enjoy it and just thankful for. I also want to mention. I mean, I don't have any sponsors on the screen here, but Donovan Builders and Cajun Boys and all of our sponsors that have enabled us to do this and provided all this equipment and there's so many things that go into it, but between the storage for the videos, we've got all the videos archived, so if anybody wants a game, let me know. I can go back and find it, and hopefully we won't have any technical issues today like we had Saturday. But when it was the mess of the rain and everything, hopefully we're done with that, and we can have a clean, quality production today. But yeah, so it's been fun, and we're glad to do it. So I think that's going to wrap it up. Anything else, Coach?
Let's go get one more win.
Let's go get one
Let's do
more.
it.
We need
6
it.
in a row, 50 in a row.
Not 50 in a row.
Not 50 in a row.
wins.
50
Yeah.
total.
50 wins
Thank
in
you.
4 years.
50
I think
in a row.
if we win today, I think this group will be, what did I tell you, 50-4. Hagan, is that right? 50-4. Isn't that what we added up? The senior class, if we win today?
I'm about to say that it's either 30 or 31
It's
straight.
according to what you, so,
The Division Two.
yes.
31 without the Division II.
And I'll be
31
honest,
without Division Two.
I'm counting those two. Those
varsity
kids,
games.
absolutely. And those kids put it on the line. Yeah, they went out there and played their hardest that weekend, and they loved it. So yeah.
And y'all
so-
had to coach it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we did. Let me tell you, that was the hardest weekend here because it all sounded great when he come to me with it to have two teams. We're like, yeah, everybody will get to play. And then we went to the first practice and we were like, yeah, we got to get two teams ready.
We got to prepare for 4 different teams
Right.
in 2 days.
That's right.
But it was a lot. I wouldn't take nothing for those 2 ball games.
Yep. So 33 in a row if we win today. So
And those Division II games gave us the opportunity to see what we had for the next year
Absolutely.
and build our defense. Because I mean,
Because some of them wasn't starting back then to start
we
today.
got a really good sea of a Zane, a Cole, a Grady that were all sophomores that year. That
Yeah.
led me to have a lot more confidence in putting them out there
that's right.
because of how they performed. So it was a really good opportunity for those kids for sure.
I was tired at the end of that one.
I was
Yes.
exhausted.
It was exhausting for us trying to call all those games too.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to going out today and hopefully getting our 6th consecutive NHSA title.
I just want you to see this. My mother-in-law just texted this. Read what she says right there.
Lets us be a part of the team. Well, that's really special. We appreciate you saying that. Well, like I said, 3 p.m. this afternoon, we'll be live, Lord willing, on air one more time this season. And until then, we're going to sign off. As I always say, in the words of the late, great Jim Fife,
Yes,
our
sir.
time is up. We thank you for yours. We'll see you in a little while.